Oh, alrighty, cool. Well, you know what that means. Oh, he does music for all the other way forward stuff? Alright. It's time. It's time to mute this video game. It's time to bring up this thing. And I need to mute the video game for me, too. We're looking at stuff, guys. This is what this layout is called. It's called Ben looking at something. So we are looking at Scurge Hive review. I pre-set it up so we don't have to sit there and turn everything on and off individually initially here. So, all right. So you Scurge Hivers out there, those of you here with opinions on this game, we're gonna go through. We're gonna do a little review here and talk a little bit about Scurge Hive. So I think we start with the good usually, right? So I'll go ahead and start with the good here and bring that up. All right, you like the pixel art and the music. I like to try to sum that up into one because it makes it easier, I feel like. We'll start with good presentation. Good presentation, man. I'm gonna say I like the elemental system, like the elemental weapon system. How do I want to say that though? I guess what I really like is the fact that like there's enemies in the game that are weak or strong at certain things, and then when you hit them, they like get buffed. That doesn't really amount to anything really, because usually it just is like, whoops, I used the wrong weapon, and then you switch to the one that is their weakness, and they die immediately. But I do like that part of the game. You don't know what to say, Alex. Very indifferent. It's all right. You don't have to participate, Alex, if you don't want to. You don't have to join us. Join in here. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out, MisterT, is like how to define that exactly in a way that makes sense when you're like looking at a paper kind of thing. Like maybe it is literally just like rock, paper, scissors kind of, or like it's almost like a weapon triangle in some ways, right? And there's some weapons that aren't really a part of that either, is the other thing about that. Although I think like the bombs and the time freeze aren't really like, they seem more like tools to solve puzzles more than like weapons usually. Like you can use them against enemies, or at least the bombs, but like it's not a effective skill most of the time, I feel like. So let's see. Yeah, maybe just like rock, paper, scissors. Like I think that sums it up well. Like scissors, rock, paper, scissors. I guess you don't say and when you say rock, paper, scissors, huh? You just say rock, paper, scissors, weapon. Scissor, weapon. That's a long way to sum that up though. Rock, paper, scissors, huh? Rock, paper, scissors, weapon. Maybe like weakness system? Does that make sense? I'm gonna put that for now. Rock, paper, scissors, weakness system. I don't like that, but we'll think about it. Is there anything else for good? What do I like about this game otherwise? It looks nice. It's got a cool weapon system. Is that it? That might be it. I'm not. I thought I liked this game better, but maybe that's kind of it. Like it looks nice, and I like the weapon stuff. I do like the weapon stuff a lot. Is there anything about the level design? Not talking about the combat yet. I don't want to get too deep into that, or like in terms of like how the enemies are laid out, because I think that is a bad for me. But there is like that one area that's kind of like 2D-ish, but it's like such a minor part of the game. I don't really think it is kind of a weird novelty. I don't know if that's a positive though. I mean, that is a cool, like, fun fact. Like, hey, fun fact. Also on GPA. If we don't use our solar slots, we can leave that there. I don't have a problem doing that. Infection system. I didn't mind the infection system actually. Like, I don't think it's a good thing. It does add some tension to exploration. Let me think about this. So here's what I'm thinking. I need to be vocal about what I'm talking about on stream rather than just like keep it on my brain. So what I'm thinking about is like, yes, I do think there's like value to the game giving you that incentive to like hurry up, right? You want to like it makes you kind of think a lot about where save points are and if you need to rush somewhere and like managing your resources on the way there. I think my problem with that is, and this kind of relates to the one of the first bads I'm sure I'll put on the next list, is just like the enemy placement and the combat mechanics are so messy and chaotic that it doesn't ever really feel like I am really changing that much when I actually start panicking, because it's already such a mess most of the time. I feel like that, like, it doesn't feel like I'm just like, you know, frantically trying to get somewhere and that it feels significantly different. Because like even when I have low infection, sometimes I'm just in a room and it's just like there's garbage everywhere on screen and I don't know where I'm going. Like there's just so much and it's all gonna respawn. If I leave the room, come back, it's all gonna respawn. So like it is kind of just like, oh my gosh, this is a mess. And so like I don't really know if it ever really played in a way that I felt it was that satisfying, on my side at least. Does that make sense? Is there something about the infection system that you liked about it, or are you just kind of bringing it up as a potential point? Give it a star. Bugs. Is bugs good? I thought you don't like bugs, Alex. What's it called? Is it arachnophobia or something like that? Are the bosses any good? I don't think so. Unlocking like weapons, you gotta do like little time puzzle. I think that's fine. Is there good variety in this game? No, I think it all feels very similar when you play through it. Were the boss battles good? Some of them were good, I feel like. I feel like most of them were not great. Like the one I remember liking the most was the one with the there's something where like it would change how you would attack you with every bar. It was almost like, was it a worm coming out of the ground or something? Or no, it was like a spinning set of like energy or something like that. I don't remember what it was exactly, but that was fun because even though it was very much the same type of encounter that whole time, like it would adapt on every bar of health how you have to dodge it kind of thing. And that was cool. But then it's like one boss as well. So I don't really know. And I don't really know much about the puzzles either. Is there something about the bosses and puzzles that you like, Oskar? I think that's probably my more pertinent question at this point, is trying to figure out if we like anything else about this game. Pertinent. I guess, MisterT, same question to you. Do you think that's a good thing, the infection system and how it is? Like, is it positively implemented in any way? All right, I think that is a key question here. Is like, yes, it's there. And I do think there's something to be said, like, you guys know my channel. I'm a trash man who likes trash mechanics, and I'm like, yeah, even if it's not great, at least it's here. But I think the difference is when I think there's a difference between something being there and cool and being something that's cool that you can interact with, right? Like, I feel like the rock paper scissors like weakness system, and type out what you want while I ramble here a little bit. But like rock paper scissors weakness system, like that is maybe does not amount to that much. But I think like you do interact with it in a fun way, like having to switch your weapons around. And I think like the concept is very obvious when it's in front of you, and there's like there's a reason to kind of adjust, you know, what you're using, and like the weapon swapping system is very quick and snappy, kind of thing. So yeah, it's my favorite review word: solid bosses and puzzles. How you feel about that? We can have like a neutral statement. I need to look into it. I remember like some guy on IGN like got reached out for, and Nintendo was like, "Can we use your quote on like an ad for Glory of Heracles?" And, and the quote they used for it was like "solid gameplay" or something like that. It was like, oh man, you're really reaching for them quotes. But yeah, I think I'm running low on things to really say about this game. I think this is like fine. Like a lot of these things in this game are fine. But like, yeah, nothing really jumps out. I don't know. I kind of feel like I want to reword the rock, paper, scissors weakness system, but I feel like once we start doing that, it gets really complicated and and explaining exactly what I want to say is good about it. So yeah, Glory of Heracles. Any of you guys Glory of Heracles fans? I got it for a hot $1. So can I have like a star here, like a real star? I want to. I want like a cool star. Yeah. Fun fact. Also on GBA. Put that down there. I think this might be it for this. Like, I think this is maybe the most I can say. It's good, yeah. All right. Well, Alex, I know you say you don't have anything else to say. I think Mr. T and Oskar, based off your comments, I think we're probably done with the good. We have not stamped anything yet, so if we need to come back to the good, let me know. Unmemorable. All right. Let's close that out. The bad. What is bad, guys? Tell me what you hate. Why do you guys hate Scurge Hive? Jeez. Let me do my little complaint here of just like, I don't know if this is level design per se, but poor enemy, overly chaotic enemy placement. It's maybe a little long. We don't need to say poorly because we're in the bad section. Chaotic enemy placement. I don't know, like it's just kind of annoying. Annoying combat. I need to bring actual chat up. Makes it easier to read your guys' stuff. Let me put it over here. The isometric camera. That I can see that for sure. It's a more specific way to say that, like sprite layers are unclear, or like elevation, floor elevation's unclear. Is that kind of sum it up, you think, Mr. T? Maybe awkward. I don't know if I necessarily want to blame the isometric camera for the problems this game has directly. But I think we can say for sure cumbersome platforming. How about that? Cumbersome combat and platforming. I mean, This is largely due to the fact of the camera, I think, but I don't think the fact that it is an isometric camera. I think you can do this in an isometric camera. I don't think that part is necessarily bad. So, hey Joshua. Joshua, we just finished up. We did finish up the good section, but we did not have a lot to say. So if there's anything good you want to say about Scurge Hive, now's the time. I'll flash you that real quick if you want to take a look here real quick. But basically we said, hey, cool graphics. I liked the rock, paper, scissors weapon system there. Solid bosses and puzzles, because we didn't really know what to say. We were trying to find words to put on this paper. And then we were also like, hey, it's a fun fact, it's on GBA as well. But if you have anything else you like about Scurge Hive, let me know, Joshua, and I'll be happy to throw it on there. Sloppy enemy placement, yeah. I need to kind of figure out like how, like, I don't know if it's sloppy enemy placement is what it is. It's like, 'cause the big thing is that like everything just kind of masses onto you in a way. Like the enemy placement itself is not necessarily bad. It's just kind of like how they approach you, I think. And I think part of this also is just like, and this kind of falls into the cumbersome combat, and this is not something you put on the list. I think the shot in this game needs to be wider. I think that's the big problem with this game's combat, is the actual thing you shoot is not wide enough. So it's like requires an immense amount of precision in a game that has way too many directions for that precision, basically. So, you like the soundtrack? Okay. I think I agree with you. I think it is a... I guess we wrapped that into good presentation. Well, we'll put it in a... I already forgot that was a part of good presentation, so you know what? Let's go ahead and put presentation and music. How about that? How about that? All right. Get back over here to the bat. Oh, I need to show you guys the bat, though. Let me see the bat. Thank you. Platforming part, it's fine. I will fix this after stream or whatever. Like that. That's okay. I don't actually like take this as the final thing. I clean it up afterwards. So. Anyways, RPG mechanics only serve to put out the game. I don't think the RPG mechanics really cause problems though. Like it does let you have more health and like infection, but like I don't think it ever really gets in the way, right? Like the game is not necessarily asking you to level up that much. Even that last boss fight, as challenging as it was initially, like we got past it, right? We figured out, we were able to get through. The bigger thing was just figuring out how the heck that last boss fight worked, which was a little unclear. Since we're so low on things to put on here, so let me just put like annoying final boss. I think that's like just leave it at that, I think, for that. You think it's just kind of unmemorable? I'm probably not going to put bugs, Alex, but I unmemorable maybe. Not that I necessarily think there's a problem with being unmemorable. Doesn't really stand out though, obviously. I don't even think the infection system's bad, Mr. T. I think it's just like undermined by the enemy placement. Yeah, let's say poor enemy placement. I think that's fine. I don't really like the word that. We don't have a lot of space to work with. I always want to like make it longer, but I don't want a lot on screen. Cliffhanger ending. I don't think that really affects the game itself that much, and I don't really feel like the story part of this game is a huge deal, really. And I think to some degree I get like the like I wouldn't necessarily say Xenosaga Episode 1's a bad ending because it's a cliffhanger ending, right? and then they made a 2, right? And same thing with Xenosaga 3. I wouldn't really blame Xenosaga 3 for like a cliffhanger ending kind of thing. Although Xenosaga 3 tries to wrap things up in some ways. There are other story problems I have with Xenosaga 3. So I get what you're saying, but I don't know if we want to mark a game down for having the slight ambition to say there will be a sequel afterwards, kind of thing. I think a lot of games do that. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, though. I think it's something that can definitely hurt the narrative. I don't know if I don't really get the impression Scurge Hive's narrative is really something we need to be all that worried about, though. I'm trying to figure the best way to put like the unmemorable thing. Because I feel like if we put unmemorable, that kind of goes against like the solid boss thing, right? Like we said, there's some okay puzzles and boss fights in this game. Yeah. I seem to recall the GBA version was considered to be slightly better, which is fine. I don't think it's basically like, I don't think that will change my overall opinion of the game that much. But like your shooting rate, the general problems with that game is more than anything is I think the perspective in combination with the platforming and how they portray the environment and how they layer things in front of you. They really need to be layered backwards, probably. And like they need to really focus on layering stuff backwards that you probably can't really like come into a room on the top kind of thing. And then like I think to some degree it's also the width of the shot too, like the precision they ask for you out of shooting, which honestly I will say that is a problem I had with Super Metroid 2 of just like with shooting in that game. There's just too many directional options for shooting in Super Metroid, in my opinion, for how close range the combat is, and I feel very similarly to this game as well. But it's obviously kind of a different dimension to some degree. So, yeah, maybe we'll just say forgettable. Overall, forgettable. I don't really like that wording, but we got a review deadline, guys. We got to hit the embargo date for Scurge Hive, so we got to make sure we got to choose. We got to be okay with the words we choose. Cumbersome combat and platforming. Sorry, we've been talking a lot. Cumbersome combat and platforming. Poor enemy placement. Annoying final boss. Overall forgettable. I kind of want to figure out why is it forgettable. Does that make sense? Better graphics too. I mean, I'm sure the DS port was probably like a quick and sloppy thing, to be honest with you. So is it just forgettable because there's like not enough variety? Is it? I think I would be in agreement that there's not enough variety in the gameplay, probably. Like, pretty much this entire game is collecting cards. So, like, that is pretty much your objective for most of this video game, I feel like. Collecting cards, collecting power-ups, go grab the thing. I mean, that's not necessarily a terrible thing either. Talking myself out of it, but made by a small team. You know, that's kind of an interesting question I think about from time to time. Like, does team size matter with that stuff? Obviously, from how impressive a game is, right? Like even Microsoft, when that was it called Bright Memories or whatever, they're like, hey, it's the one-man team developing a shooter, right? And I think to some degree, like I definitely am more lenient on games if it's like, hey, one person made this, and I think it's more interesting in a lot of ways where it's like, hey, this person just had a passion project, they put this together. I'm sure they worked with other people in parts of the game, but like generally it's just them. I mean, this was like a really but this is before the indie scene as well, so like this is like a small independent studio. But I mean, that was a my hang up, Oscar, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I know I'm always a bully with putting stuff on this list. Especially since we're in the need of good stuff. But like, I don't know if the fact it's made by a small team really improves it in any way. Like, it doesn't feel like a game that I'm thinking about a lot of things right now. Like now I'm thinking about Undertale and how that is, because like Toby Fox is like as far as I know, like the dude who does Undertale stuff, right? And like to some degree, I think it is very much just like that is a game with a very singular vision that you can kind of feel that person's like kind of spirit behind in some ways. Where with something like this, I don't know if that really comes across that way, right? I think we could probably do variety, like not enough variety. Like it is lack of variety. I think that is probably something we can put there. I think that is probably what leads into it being memorable in a lot of ways. The structure of the game is very similar. I don't think the structure like ever really surprises you. Aside from the one 2D section, that's a cool 2D section, but yeah. Does this feel good? I feel like we're struggling with this list. Maybe I'm just the one struggling. I'm the barrier between you guys and this list, so maybe it's just me. But I feel like this hits my major points though. I think it yeah. And this does not feel like a Metroid ripoff per se though. Like it does have its own perspective. It has its like elemental like weapon system, which I think is cool. Like there's things about it that are interesting. There's the infection mechanic as poorly, or not really poorly, but like as kind of irrelevant as it is given kind of the level design of the game. Like I do think there are things that make this game stand out versus Metroid for sure. So yeah. All right. That's missing animations and effects. I'm not surprised, Alex. Over the years, I found typically the original version of a game is the one that retains most of that stuff, and then stuff gets cut. Go look at the slowdown animation in Crystal Chronicles HD release versus the GameCube one, and it looks like a mess on PS4 at least. All right. Well, I feel a little weird about this one, but we're here. No, we're not here. I'm here. Are you here? Now you're here. Almost. There you go. Oh yeah, I forgot this window still resets chat messages. I need to fix that. I need to stop that from happening. All right, we got stuff going on. Do you guys have Riddle playing? Yes, there you go. You guys got some Riddle music playing now. All right. Apparently I have Elebits files on here still, but it's not showing up on screen, so that's all that matters. It might be behind everything else. Batman, yeah. I don't have any. I was gonna put like what if I put some bat ears on? Let's see here. Okay. Also, I'm gonna try to see if we can find something to update this arrow to. I feel like we should have some kind of arrow that's like specific for us. If you got some ideas, let me know. Otherwise, it will probably end up being an arrow off the First Kiss story desktop accessory discs or something like that. For now, we'll just have the red arrow though. All right. Ooh, the double 2. Ooh, the 2 is across the board. Mr. T, I think I'm definitely leaning with you on the 2.5 at least, although we do have the double 2s. And I'm not opposed to it too. For sure. Batman. When I think about when I play Scurge Hive, this is me. Honestly, when I play Scurge Hive, this is probably me right here. Like, in the moment, I feel like Scurge Hive is maybe a 1.5. That is very low, but like when I try to use these face things here as a guide, because we got these on screen. If somebody looks at this later, these faces define it, right? So when I think about when I was actively playing Scurge Hive, I probably was like right here. But it's weird because when I think about Scurge Hive afterwards, when I think about my appreciation for Scurge Hive, I think I'm actually more closely like right here to a 3. Yeah, Oscar, I think I'm close to what you're feeling about Scurge Hive. I think the moment to moment of Scurge Hive is not great, but I appreciate the elemental stuff. I, to some degree, appreciate the infection system, but like I said, it's pretty much negated, unfortunately. And I don't know if I feel strongly enough to add it on this list. You said one. Wait, Mr. T, are you 1.5 or 2 or 2.5? I'm feeling okay about a 2. I think I'm somewhere like feeling somewhere between a 2 and a 2.5. And I see double 2s on here. Mr. T, let me know what you're kind of the one spread out right now. So if you can narrow that down for me. You're leaning 2. Okay. All right. I think 2. I think Oscar, I'm in agreement with you that to some, at least I agree to you to some extent of like, I feel like I could be, oops, hey, background's moving. I feel like I could be here and I could be here. Like those are places I could be, but also when I think about the active aspect of playing the game, I kind of feel like I'm lower than that too. So we have a pretty solid set of 2s across the board here, I think. So 2.25, yeah. There you go, right there. No, wait, here? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, so I think we'll do the 2. All right. Anything else that we want to talk about? Is there anything else we want to add to this before we wrap this up? I'm having a late game good here. I know I'm the one who said we shouldn't put infection on the list, but I kind of maybe think we should put infection on the list. I do appreciate it's there. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think people who think it's a bad thing probably overthought it to some degree. Maybe not overthought it. It's just like a different state of mind, right? If you're somebody who doesn't like feeling rushed or something, for sure. Like I know some people don't like Shenmue 2 where you have to do it. Quiz over. Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep the infection off. I do appreciate that part of the game. Just unfortunately, I don't feel like it actually is a part of the game or not strong enough part of the game for me to really mention it here. But okay. Well, it's time for me to go. And now it's time for you to go. Are you ready? Infection is the last thing. I think I'm gonna leave infection off as much as I should. If there was just something about it that made it, I think if there's just a little more breathing room in the game with the enemies, the infection mechanic could have really been highlighted, but it doesn't. I think. I just like the idea of it being there. Fix the arrow placement. It's all right. Mr. T, I cleaned this up before before we print it out, but yes, I'll try my best there. It doesn't lock at all, so like I have to just like pixel perfect it. So like I have to sit there and be like, eh. So I just gotta line it up, but yeah. Oskar, I love that. That is something that I really wanted Pandora's Tower to do. So if you don't know about Pandora's Tower, we're going on a side rant about Pandora's Tower. All right. We did it. We reviewed Scurge Hive. Okay. Pandora's Tower. I wanted Pandora's Tower to have that aspect, because like if you don't know about Pandora's Tower, like you have the lady who's at the thing, and then she like eats meat, and when like the initial translation for the news article about Pandora's Tower came out, it seemed like the way it was translated made it sound like you were going to be playing the lady, and I like the impression I got from that game was that you're going to be eating meat, and then like if you eat the meat you get more powerful, but then you lose humanity, right? I thought that was cool. And then, like, it turns out, actually, that's not the game at all. She does eat meat and stuff, and she does turn into a monster and stuff like that. And there's an ending based off, you know, how much meat she has to eat, kind of thing, because it's, like, tainted meat. But yeah, it's not worked into the gameplay. So I do like that idea, Oskar. I don't know. I'm trying to think of games that let you do that or not. So, anyways, that's it for that.